Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, Brandon here with another great business to discuss on this episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. Today's guest is Adam, and he's selling his Amazon Associates business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. So welcome to the show, Adam, and how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Brandon. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I'm really excited to talk to you about this business you've created. But before we get into the details of it, let's give a quick general overview of the business. So it is an Amazon Associates business in the office supply, home, and health and fitness niches, created in January 2018. The average monthly revenue for the business is $16,381 and makes an average of $16,180 per month in net profit. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 51117 to learn more about the business, or you can unlock this listing and start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So now that I've given a general overview of the business, what's included in the sale are the domain and all site content and files and a Facebook account. So Adam, can you tell us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Yeah, so I've been online businesses for quite a while now, over the last 5 to 7 years, and mainly in different other niches. And I've always been interested in working from home. So always been interested in looking at office supplies and anything that's going to make my life more comfortable and efficient while working, whether it be home or in an office. So yeah, I thought, after doing a bit of research back in 2018, I thought there was a bit of a space for that type of niche. So I created a website based around that, giving my personal advice and researching particular products in that space. Obviously, it's a growing niche, particularly now since they have all the lockdowns, but it was kind of growing before too. There's a general trend of people working from home, and also people just looking to be more comfortable and more healthy and more mindful while working. So that was my reason for starting it.
Okay. Now, did you run other similar content-based or Amazon Associates sites before this one, or was this the first Amazon Associates business that you started?
Well, this was the first pure Amazon Associate website that I started. I dipped my feet in the water with one other site, but that other site is a completely different niche, and it was also primarily generating revenue through AdSense. And I kind of stumbled upon the Amazon Associate model.
Okay, very cool. Now, so if the business is doing so great at this time, Adam, why are you deciding that you'd like to sell it?
Yeah, good question. So there's a few reasons why I was looking to sell it. I've got some other commitments in some other areas that I would like to pursue and spend more time on. I'd also like to take some money off the table so I can invest and maybe possibly buy a home with that money. And I want to get the site out on a bit of a high. I can see the site's growing month to month, and I've noticed a lot of sites on the thing that are kind of trending down, but I always plan to, if I was going to sell a website, I was going to sell it on a high and try and get someone to continue that momentum and build it to something bigger, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I could see, even just looking at your listing and seeing the metric numbers and the earnings, as you had said, that's definitely on a projection that's heading high as well. So that's really great to see that you've established this type of a business and brought it to our marketplace. Now, was there anything that you learned while growing this business that you plan on applying to future businesses down the road?
Yeah, look, I never really focused on link building. And so it took a really, really long time for this site to rank. And once it started to rank and started to pick up in Google, it really exploded. So I guess the biggest takeaway would probably to focus a bit on link building if you were to get it started, to get it going much quicker. Just to look to publish consistently. If you're going to take on a niche in office supply or anything, just write about everything, to cover everything, answer every possible question that a customer would be interested in knowing. Every topic, every article, every question within an article, just cover everything. The next projects I would work on, I would continue that focus, just trying to cover everything and build a big authority niche within Google's eyes.
Yeah, really solid advice for anyone that is also interested in building up these types of businesses as well. Now, was there anything that you tried with this business and it just didn't give you the ROI that you were expecting?
Not particularly, no. Everything, the Amazon model, obviously it went down, like the ROI went down a little bit after the recent Amazon commission update, which happened last year. But in saying that, I mean, if you look at the metrics, the ROI from the cost of the article to create, the ROI is pretty astounding. I can't think of any other offline business where you get such an ROI for the amount of risk that you put in. I can't complain about the ROI at all.
Okay. Now, did you try any other types of marketing on this subject as far as setting up an email list or maybe doing some social media advertising for the business, or was that not really your focus?
Yeah, I really didn't apply any of those things, and it's probably something that I should have done and really gone. And I guess this is an opportunity for the buyer, if they have a background in that skill set, would be to really push this website forward into a brand. And so that would be creating PR, doing Facebook, social media, and just pushing this site to be a brand. Okay. And obviously focusing, like I said before, about links, which would make the site even more of authority.
Yeah, absolutely. So with your business being, a content-based business, so where does the majority of your traffic come from? Is most of it coming through organic, or are you running any type of Google advertising for the business at this time?
No, pretty much everything. I think it was 95% came from organic traffic through Google. And I think, don't quote me on this, but roughly 5% comes from direct traffic.
Okay. And then are you doing anything else in terms of marketing with the Facebook account that's also included, or is that kind of something that's been kind of pushed on the side and when you have time to get to it type thing?
Yeah, I always planned to do something, but I never had time to actually do it because I was working on other things, other websites at the time. And to be honest, I just don't have a good skill set or strategy for it. So I couldn't figure out how to make it work.
Okay. No, that makes sense. As you had mentioned as well, another growth opportunity for a potential buyer to consider should they have that core skill set under their belt. On this subject of certain things that you weren't able to get to, hypothetically speaking, what are some of the ways that you would try and grow it if you kept this business?
Good question. So there'd be a number of ways that I would grow it. Firstly, as I said before, I'd probably try and outsource some of the social media and trying to build up a brand in the space. So being a bit more active on social media, trying to build an email list, doing everything I can to get my name and brand out there. So the other thing that I would probably be trying to do is create PR pieces every month, loosely related to the business. It could be something to do with people working in the office or, something to do with back pain or anything where I figured I could try and get the brand out there and also the opportunity to build some links, some good high authority news sites or websites. So the first thing to grow would be to build the link or the brand authority or whatever you want to call it of the business. The second thing would be to try and go down the list of, I have a pretty good, there's not really one article that brings in a lot of the traffic, but I would try and continue to build up some of the articles that are not performing, might be on the end of page 1 or the start of page 2. So be trying to work on that content, fix it up and try and push it up the list, whether that's by improving the context or trying to build a few links to those pages. And the third area would be to just expand the content of the site to different articles.
Okay. Yeah, that's a really great strategy and a great plan for a buyer to also consider should they want to move forward with the business and, scale it to much higher levels, of course. Do you feel that there's any particular skill set that a buyer should have prior to taking over this business?
Well, obviously someone that's going to buy the site's going to have a strong SEO background. They're going to have some sort of process in place for producing content. And hopefully they're going to have a good link building skill set too. It would be pretty useful, like I said before, to have a branding social media skill set or process in place.
Okay. Now, can you describe for our listeners what some of the typical work or the weekly tasks that you're performing on this business at this time?
Yeah, right now, right now it's pretty light. So, looking at obviously revenues each day, traffic, which articles have gone up, which articles have gone down, right now he produces like 1 to 2 articles a month. So things have slowed down. So right now, there's not too much work, but that in saying that, it's as much work as you want it to be. Like if you were focusing on PR and you're focusing on all the other things that I recommended that I would do if I was going to keep the business, it could be a full-time job. It could be 3 hours. It could be a full-time job. It just depends on how much time and focus the person has for the business. But I think it's still, compared to some competitors on the market, it still definitely has legs to grow. At least, like 1 or 2 of the competitors on the market, if you look, it's pretty much 2 times, at least like a bit less than 2x my site. I know that there's definite room for significant growth of the site.
Yeah, no, definitely. Now, what do you feel are some of the potential risks that a buyer should be aware of prior to acquiring this asset?
Look, I mean, there's always the risk of Google updates. Anything can happen with Google, as anyone who has an online business knows. In saying that, the last, all of the other Google updates have been pretty kind to the website. The content is very well written. It's obviously original. It's not generic, crappy content. I made sure of that from day one. And also I haven't built any dodgy links on the site. So, but yeah, there's always the risk that Google penalizes the site. And yeah, there's the risk that Amazon could reduce their commission rates again. I don't think that they would do that for a very long time because they tend to not do this they only did it last year. So, but in saying that, if Amazon did reduce their commission, there is the opportunity for a lot of these articles to join other affiliate programs. And that's probably something that I should have mentioned before on the opportunities. Right now that the site specifically focuses on Amazon Associates, but there's a lot of affiliate programs that are appropriate to this site that are non-Amazon that offer a lot higher commission rate, and the purchasing, prices are low on Amazon. It's very competitive. But some of these other niche websites with affiliate programs, it's a high quality of buyer. So they tend to buy more. And obviously, I don't think the conversion rate would be as good, but you're getting a lot more money for the commission. And it's definitely something to test on the site. And that's something that I always planned to do, but I never had let's just face it, I was a little bit lazy in that regard. But yeah, there's an opportunity for that. There's also an opportunity to put a little tiny bit of AdSense on there too and make, an extra 2K. I think you could make an extra, based on some other sites that I have, I think you could make an extra 2-3K just putting a bit of ads on there.
Okay. Yeah, that's a really great opportunity as well for someone to consider and to also take into consideration when they're doing their due diligence. Now, are you currently doing all of the work on the business at this time, Adam, or do you have a team or perhaps a VA helping you with some of the workload?
Right now, like I said before, the workload was pretty light, but I had obviously I've got a writer and I've got an editor, someone that uploads uploads the articles. And I also had someone that like content review, someone that would review the content and sort of organize it. And then once it goes through that machine, I'll give everything the okay, and then it just gets uploaded. When I was scaling out articles, it was a pretty clear process. But some of those authors have gone now, or they've gone to other projects, and because I didn't need them anymore because I slowed down with the article creation.
Okay. So do you not use the same writers now when you're producing 1 or 2 new articles each month, or do you have a...
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I've got the same. Yeah, I've got the same writer right now.
Okay, got it. And will they be continuing with the new owner, or are these personal in-house VAs that you are outsourcing to?
Yeah, I don't see why they couldn't continue. I'm sure the editor would be able to continue too, the one that does a bit of artwork on the site and also lays it out. But yeah, I haven't spoken to them specifically, but I don't see why it would be a problem.
Okay, that's good to hear. And I'm sure potential buyers are also interested in that, just in case they might not have a team already set up for this. Now, Adam, are you willing to commit to a non-compete, meaning any future businesses down the road, you'll stay out of this specific niche?
Yeah, right now the projects that I'm working on are completely in a different space. And so, yeah, I don't see why that would be an issue.
Got it. And then how much support are you willing to offer potential buyers? Are you going with the typical 30 days of email and Skype call support, or did you have something in addition that you would like to add on to that?
If they needed extra support, I don't see why I would do everything to help them. I think that the 30-day Skype and email support would be enough. But yeah, like I said, if they need something, yeah, I'd be happy to help.
Okay. That's always great to hear that you'd be willing to make sure that the business goes on and continues to grow the way it has been. Now, are you open to negotiating something like an earnout where you'll receive a large portion of the sales price up front and then smaller payments closing out the deal over the course of a few months after that?
I'd want the bulk of it probably like upfront, like majority upfront. And yeah, we could negotiate possibly on that. But yeah, I mean, it would depend on the offer, really.
Got it. Yeah, it's always something that can be discussed during the negotiation period, but at least something that you would be open to. That buyers are always interested in hearing that as well, too. Now, just a few sideline questions for you, Adam. What advice would you give to our listeners that you wish you knew when you first started this business?
Like I said before, the biggest advice would be just to be patient and just keep churning out articles. Like I said before, I never focused on links. So patience, it took a long time for the site to take off. And once it did, it's really grown organically and not because of anything false. So, I mean, I would probably say it would be probably wise to do a bit of link building and do a bit of PR early on.
Okay.
And to give but yeah, just be patient, really. It was a new domain. I wasn't buying the website from anyone, so it took a long time.
Okay. Got it. So patience is key here then when it comes to building up the content side. Yeah. And I completely agree with you and understand. Now, why do you think that this business model is great for those who are interested in getting started in online business?
Why this particular business? I mean, look, this business is pretty much, making money already from day one. It's making good money. So it's profitable if you want to work on it 3 hours. But I would advise someone to push it harder and to work on that PR because it can grow into something, 2-3 times the value of the site, maybe, to see how it goes. It's also an interesting space since the lockdown because people have really moved towards, home offices and the office environment has completely changed. So I think people really need this equipment a lot more. So it's a growing niche and I guess new opportunities for different products will open up in the industry. So, it's an exciting and it's a growing niche.
Oh, yeah, definitely obvious as well. Just looking at the metrics and seeing the revenue and the traffic just continuing to grow over time. So that's really great. Now, just final question for you, Adam. So putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think that your business is worth buying?
For all the reasons that I've said, really, I think that the biggest strength is the content on the site. The content was really paid attention to the quality of the content. I didn't just churn stuff out. The writers were good quality. The articles are well thought out. It's been well edited. There's good interlinking with sites, which is rare for some of these Amazon associate sites. And also, I think I paid attention a lot to the UI of the site. So, there's some custom artwork on the page. The layout is good. Look, it hasn't grown because of links. That's the other thing. It hasn't grown. There's nothing on the site. Like all the links that it's earned has just been natural. So I guess that speaks to the content. And so Google has picked up the site, and it's not because the system's been gamed or through link buying or PBNs or any of that stuff. I think it's a genuine resource for people, and people get good value out of it. And Google sees that from their end, and some of the pages just rank really well. And so that's why it produces, the ROI is fantastic on the site.
Yeah, that's definitely obvious, even just from looking and digging deeper into your listing as well and seeing some of the details. And yeah, it's definitely apparent and you can see it as well through the metrics. And yeah, that pretty much wraps up this call. Was there anything else that you'd like to add, Adam, that I might have missed?
No, just going on the last thing. I mean, it continues to grow month to month. I thought it was going to peak in December because of the Christmas period, but it's continued that momentum into this year. Like January was even higher than December. The momentum keeps growing on the site. It grows. The traffic is growing month to month. And yeah, I'm just really happy with it.
Yeah, it's something to be very proud of. So yeah, it's really great to see that. And, I'm sure, we'll have a buyer out there who's looking at this and here's your story and how the business is doing and might make an offer sooner than you know. So that pretty much wraps up this call. Really appreciate you coming on the call with us today, Adam, and looking forward to seeing your business getting sold here in the near future.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you. And all right, everyone. So thanks for listening. To learn more and to see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 51117. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. And once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.